Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about multi-con, a multi-contrastive semi-supervised learning approach for image classification. So you have seen the state-of-the-art semi-supervised learning approaches for image classifications earlier. Now we will see our proposed novel algorithm multi-con. So here this is an unlabeled drug, this image of an unlabeled drug. This goes through the consistency regularization module and multi-contrastive learning module, and then the therapeutic class of the image gets detected, which is a cardiovascular drug, so which is used for ailment of heart related problems. So what is our problem statement? Development of a multi-contrastive learning-based semi-supervised framework to discover the instance similarity with a weak-class relationship in the unlabeled data, improving the discrimination of learned representations for accurate predictions, classifying drugs from their chemical structures, diagnosis of diseases from medical image analysis. So what are our contributions here? We have proposed multi-con, a multi-contrastive based learning strategy which maximizes the similarity between differently augmented views from the same unlabeled data from the embedded space. For the optimization of multi-contrastive loss, apply the instance weighting strategy to meet the different pair similar situations during the sampling of training batch. We show that such strategy improves the quality of the learned representations during the unsupervised contrastive learning. We have applied multi-con for drug classifications and medical image analysis. So now we will discuss the framework of multi-con. Here we see an unlabeled drug. So the labeled drug and unlabeled drug both goes through the weak augmentation function. Weak augmentation is flip, resize, and crop of the drug molecule. Then it goes to the consistency regularization function. In consistency regularization module, the supervised drug, for the supervised drug, the cross entropy of the drugs gets detected. But for the unsupervised drug, there is no labels. So the machine provides some pseudo label or fake label. Next, the unlabeled drug goes to the strong augmentation function, which is color inversion, contrast adjustment, and translation. This goes through the consistency regularization module once again, and the pseudo label of the labeled drug gets matched with the pseudo label of the unlabeled drug. So now we see that the drugs go to the embedded space. In the embedded space, there is, let's say there is an anchor point which is a positive, which belongs to the positive class. So drug molecules belonging to the positive class gets attracted to the anchor point, and drug molecules belonging to the negative class gets far away from the anchor point. So that is the definition of the embedding space. Next, after all these operations, the therapeutic class of the drugs gets detected, which is central nervous system drug. So this is directly from our paper, which has been published in JCIM, Journal of Chemical Information and Modeling, and the work has been done with the collaboration of Sir Fraser Stoddard's research group in Northwestern University. Now we will discuss data augmentation. So we have 90 unlabeled data here, which is termed as A1, and 10 labeled data. So the 90 unlabeled data goes to the weak augmentation function and strong augmentation function, and 10 labeled data goes to the weak augmentation function. Together, weak augmentation and B1, B2, B3 goes to the deep learning model, and then B1 and B2 goes to the multi-contrastive loss, and B1, B2, B3 goes to the consistency regularization module. After that, the loss coming from consistency regularization and the loss coming from multi-contrastive component are added up, and then they are minimized. So what is weak augmentation? Weak augmentation corresponds to the random flip shift strategy of the data points, and strong augmentation refers to the pixel level changes in an image. In our case, we used color inversion, translation, contrast adjustment as a part of strong augmentation techniques. So what is consistency regularization? Consistency regularization applies to both weakly labeled and unlabeled data and calculates the cross entropy. It ensures that the data coming from both labeled and unlabeled counterpart are from the same distribution. It includes two different components. One is the standard cross entropy term applied on weakly labeled examples. This is called the supervised part. And there is a pseudo labeling part. So the public loss function can be defined with the following formula. Here, there are some unknown terms. So WAXS is the weak augmented supervised data tensors, YS labels of the supervised data, N number of classes, where LCE is the cross entropy loss function. Now, the probability of Y given WAXS is the predicted class distribution under weak augmentation on XS. Now we have for the unlabeled data, Multicon computes an artificial label for each data. Then it uses these artificial labels in the cross entropy loss. First, we get the model's predicted class distribution under a weak augmented unlabeled input, which is QU, that is equal to probability of Y given WA_XU. Remember, this is XU, which is the unlabeled counterpart of the data, and the weak augmentation function is defined on XU. Then we get the pseudo label, which is Y cap argmax of QU. The consistency regularization function is determined by the data augmentation with corresponding artificial targets on every unlabeled data points. So here in this equation, the cross entropy loss is determined first, and then the pseudo label is matched with the probability given by Y of SA given XU. So, and then we sum up the cross entropy loss. So this happens only when the tau is greater than max of QU. So we need to determine what is tau here. Tau is basically a threshold here. So if we increase the max of QU greater than tau, then only this whole scenario gets affected. Next, multi-contrastive learning. So what is contrastive learning? Instance-wise contrastive learning aims to learn an embedding space where samples from the same instance are pulled closer and samples from different instances are pushed apart. So we introduce a novel weighting strategy in multi-contrastive loss. We calculate the relative similarity. There are three different pair similarity situations. One is direct or self-similarity, negative relative similarity, and positive relative similarity. So first we see the direct pair similarity. In situation 1, the points n1, n2, n3 are away from the anchor. In situation 2, the points n1, n2, n3 comes closer to the anchor. So the cosine similarity between them increases. Such pairs are more informative and meaningful to learn discriminated features. So the weights of such pairs should be increased. We also need to know what is a hard negative pair. A negative pair with larger cosine similarity means it is harder to distinguish two pair samples from different classes. Such pairs are referred as hard negative pairs. Next, negative relative similarity. It is computed by considering the relationship from neighboring negative pairs. So in situation 1, n1, n3, n4 are away from n2. In situation 2, n3, n4, n1 comes closer to the anchor. So the distance between an1, an2, an3 are almost similar. So there is an identity crisis between these points n1, n2, n3, n4. So the weights of such pairs should also be increased. Next comes the positive relative similarity. It is similar as negative relative similarity, but here we take into account the positive pairs. So let's see what is positive relative similarity. So here P1, P2, P3 are away from the anchor in situation 1. In situation 2, P1, P2, P3 comes closer to the anchor. So there is an identity crisis between P1, P2 and P3 as the distance between AP1, AP2, AP3 are almost same. So such pairs, the weights of such pairs should be reduced. Next, the multi-contrastive learning approach. We sample significant pairs that are weighed during the model learning process. For pair sampling, we define the similarity between the positive pairs as Sij plus and between the negative pairs as Sij minus, where Xi and Xj have different pseudolabels. So positive pairs should be sampled comparing the negative samples with largest similarity Sik. So a situation that can be formulated as the following formula. A negative pair should be sampled comparing the positive sample with lowest similarity. So here Sij minus is greater than max of yi equal to yk S of ik minus eta, where eta is a given margin value. So why we need to dig deep into these two formulas. So let's see the first formula. Here yi not equal to yk, that means the positive pairs is sampled using a negative sample where their classes don't match. So with the largest similarity Sik. So here the positive pairs similarity Sij plus is less than the maximum of Sik plus eta. Similarly, a negative pair should be sampled comparing the positive sample. Here, the similarity between the negative pair is termed as Sij minus, and this is the maximum of sample similarity between the positive pairs. So that is why yi equal to yk, where the classes are same. So Sik here should be less than Sij minus the eta, that is the given margin value. Now we apply a soft weighting strategy to evaluate the selected pairs more effectively. For a sample pair Xi, Xj, the weights of the pairs Wij plus and Wij minus can be calculated as the following formula 3. So Wij plus, we see that the weight is inversely proportional to the similarity between the Xi and Xj point, where yi equal to yj. That means this is related to the positive relative similarity, where the similarity of the positive pair increases and the weight should be reduced. Next, Wij minus is directly proportional to the similarity between Xi and Xj. Here yi not equal to yj. That means the classes of two different points are not same. So this is related to the direct and negative relative similarity, where similarity of the negative pair increases and weight should be increased. Finally, we combine the loss function. This is where gx equals to log of 1 plus exponential of x, which is a generalized logistic loss function. So this is an approximation of hinge loss as well. So here we define the loss minimized by multicon as LCR plus lambda LMC, where lambda is a fixed scalar hyperparameter. Next comes the experimental results. So we have explored this algorithm in different datasets, CIFAR 10, CIFAR 100, and SVHN. So here the CIFAR 10 and CIFAR 100 dataset looks as follows. Train set we have 50,000 data points, and test set we have 10,000 data points, and the number of classes for CIFAR 10 is 10 and CIFAR 100 is 100. So next, for SVHN, the train set has 33,402 data points and test set has 13,068 data points, and the number of classes are 10. These are the snapshots of the CIFAR 10 and SVHN dataset. Next, we use multicon on traditional datasets. So if we see on CIFAR 10, supervised learning performs very bad because Here, the class points, the 10 class points are almost haphazard, but there is no chance that you could recognize each of the classes separately. With mix match, the situation improves a little bit. Here, the classes are separable somewhat. With multicon, the classes of CIFAR 10 are separable with utmost accuracy, where the 10 classes we can distinguish between the 10 classes. There are still some overlap which can be which corresponds to the error in the multicon loss function. So here this is multicon on CIFAR 10 dataset. If you see the purple color trace, the performance of multicon is defined by the purple color trace. Here the other examples are from the semi-supervised learning state-of-the-art algorithms. So we see that at 1000 level, 2000 level, 3000 level, multicon has performed better than any other state-of-the-art algorithms. So these are result in table format. Here multicon at 250 level has achieved an accuracy of 80.09% and at 4000 level achieves an accuracy of 90.66%. These are the experimental results on CIFAR 100 dataset. On CIFAR 100 dataset, multicon achieves an accuracy of 62.15%, which is better than any other state-of-the-art accuracy. Now we will see the results on SVHN dataset. On SVHN dataset, multicon achieves an accuracy of 91.61% and at 4000 level, it achieves an accuracy of 95.15%. But at 250 level and 1000 level, multicon is the winner. But at 4000 level, VAT or virtual adversary training is the real winner. So now we will explore multicon in therapeutic classification of drugs. So we know that SSL or semi-supervised learning has yet to be explored in the field of drug discovery. Empirical testing of drugs and their classification is costly and time-consuming. In contrast, predicting therapeutic applications of drugs from their structural formulas using semi-supervised learning would reduce costs and time significantly. We employ multicon for classifying drugs into 12 categories according to their therapeutic classifications on the basis of image analysis of the structural formula. This paper has been taken from our published paper which in Journal of Chemical Information and Modeling, and this work has been done with the research group with collaboration of Sir Fraser Stoddard's research group at Northwestern University. So these are the snapshots of two different drug molecules in our dataset. One is the urological class and other is the CNS or central nervous system class. This is from the PubChem dataset. So these are the snapshots of the different classes in PubChem and drug bank dataset. In both dataset, the number of classes are same, but the total number of drugs differ. In PubChem dataset, the total number of drugs is 6955, and in drug bank dataset, the total number of drugs are 3437. Now a little bit of data processing. So we take the PubChem dataset D1 and we do some data balancing. So each class contains 3000 images each. So total 36,000 images in D2 dataset. Data balancing of smaller 7 class contains 3000 images. So D3 has 21,000 images. Now on drug bank dataset, data balancing, each class contains 2000 images, and with that we get D4 dataset. So now results on D1 dataset. So we see that multicon has performed well than any other state-of-the-art algorithm at 3500 labels with an accuracy of 55.16%. But what is the reason behind such a low accuracy? Here, basically, in urological class, you will see that none of the urological drugs gets detected as urological drug. So the urological class has been misclassified as anti-inflammatory, cardiovascular, and lipid regulating drug. So similarly with other classes also, the anti-infective class has been misclassified with anti-inflammatory, anti-neoplastic, cardiovascular, and so on classes. So now the results on D2 dataset. On D2 dataset, SSL methods at every level. So Multicon has outperformed the SSL methods at every levels, and its accuracy is 95.79%, which is 2% below the accuracy of the supervised method at 18,000 levels. This is the TSNE plot. Through the TSNE plot, we see that the 12 classes are almost separable. There are some overlaps between the different classes, which corresponds to the error in Multicon. So now results on D2 dataset. These are the confusion matrices on D2 dataset. So here we see that urological class has been completely and correctly classified as urological drug at 3000 level, and at 18,000 level urological class has completely classified as urological class. But for some other classes like anti-infective class, 87% accuracy as classified as anti-infective class, and for anti-inflammatory class there is 99% accuracy at 18,000 levels on D2 dataset. Now results on D2 dataset is continued. So here we see AUC-ROC plot. So AUC-ROC curve is a performance measurement for classification problem at various threshold settings. ROC is a probability curve, and AUC represents degree or measure of separability. It tells how much the model is capable of distinguishing between the classes. So the true positive rate is defined as true positive divided by true positive plus false negative, and the false positive rate is defined as true negative divided by true negative plus false positive. So this is the curve is between true positive rate versus the false positive rate. So we see that the ROC of class of almost every classes is equal to 1, but for some classes it is 9.97, 0.98, etc., which is also closer to 1. Now results on D3 dataset. So we see that at D3 dataset, Multicon outperformed all the SSL methods at every levels and reached an accuracy of 97.74% at 5,000 levels. So these are the confusion matrices on D3 dataset. Here dermatology class has an accuracy of 97%, and dermatology class at 5,000 level has an accuracy of 99%. Now results on D4 dataset. D4 dataset is a derivative of drug bank dataset. We already have seen that. So Multicon here has an accuracy of 81.18% at 12,000 levels. So the receiver operator characteristic curves, if we see, we will see that the AUC of different classes are almost equal to 94% to 99%, and sometimes they have the perfect AUC of 1. Ablation study. So what is an ablation study? Ablation study is where systematically we remove some parts of the algorithms to see which parts of the input are relevant to the algorithm output. So here we see that Multicon has different components: supervised cross entropy, semi-supervised consistency regularization, and unsupervised multi-contrastive learning. So we have also combined cross entropy and consistency regularization, but we see that together with all the components, Multicon achieves better performance, which is 81.18% on drug bank dataset and 81.9% at 3,000 levels on D2 dataset and 95.79% at 18,000 levels on D2 dataset. Now Multicon in medical imaging. So we employed Multicon for accurate detection of COVID-19 breast cancer cases by analyzing digital chest X-rays, CT scans, and mammograms. Multicon is accurate with a minimal amount of labeled image data that may be useful in medical domain. For example, diagnosis of COVID-19 from chest X-rays, CT analysis, and detection of breast cancer from mammograms. SSL approach may reduce the overhead cost of chest X-ray and CT scan data annotation. So SSL approach may also reduce the overhead cost of mammogram annotation. Here, this portion of our presentation has been taken from our paper, Potential Diagnosis of COVID-19 from Chest X-ray and CT Findings using Semi-Supervised Learning Approaches, which is under review. So this is the dataset description for COVID-19 radiography dataset. We did some data balancing. We performed rotation zoom-like techniques in order to balance the dataset across the classes. So these are the different cases from viral pneumonia, normal, and COVID-19 cases. Actually, the differences between the viral pneumonia and normal cases are quite subtle. So this semi-supervised learning approach can perform better to distinguish between the three classes. So these are the results on COVID-19 dataset. Here, Multicon has achieved 92.71% accuracy at 50 levels and 97.07% accuracy at 1000 levels. Similarly, at 200 levels, Multicon has achieved an accuracy of 95.76% and at 2000 level, 97.34%. Confusion matrices from Multicon on COVID radiography dataset and augmented dataset. So here, COVID-19 detected as COVID-19 in 98.73% of cases, normal detected as normal at 96.1% cases, viral pneumonia detected as viral pneumonia at 97.6% cases. These are the results on COVID-19 CT scan dataset. CT scan dataset has been curated from Chinese and Italian hospital. So it had around 85,000 CT scan slices. So Multicon here achieves an accuracy of 98.30% at 5,000 levels and at 30,000 levels, 99.06% accuracy. These are the confusion matrices from Multicon on COVID-19 CT scan dataset. These are the different kinds of accuracies that has been achieved by Multicon. So here, when we increase the epoch, the accuracy increases at 20,000 level data at different epochs. With epoch 2, 79.05% accuracy, with epoch 6, 98.56% accuracy, and with epoch 10, 99.13% accuracy. These are the performance graphs of Multicon and other state-of-the-art methods. So at 2000 levels on the augmented dataset, Multicon reaches the highest accuracy of 97.34%. At 20,000 levels, Multicon has reached the highest accuracy of 98.56% on the CT scan dataset. These are the unseen cases. So on the unseen dataset, Multicon achieves very good accuracy with 98% accuracy. So these are the cases basically. A, chest X-ray of 29-year-old immunocompromised female patient with a 3-day history of cough and fever. Past medical history includes severe ulcerative colitis. Chest B, chest X-ray presented to emergency department with respiratory distress and dyspnea. C, chest X-ray with a history of shortness of breath and cough and recent international travel with someone who tested positive with COVID-19. D, CT scan of a COVID-19 patient. So these are the TSNE plots on the CT scan data set and on COVID-19 augmented radiography dataset. If you see this plot with Multicon, the red dots are the COVID-19 cases, the green dots are the normal cases, and blue dots are the viral pneumonia cases. There are some overlaps between the blue dots and the green dots. That is due to the subtle differences between these two classes. But the COVID-19 cases have no such overlaps with only 2 points that can be considered as the error in the Multicon function. These are the ablation study results. Here also we see that together with all the components, Multicon has achieved an accuracy of 97.34% and 99.06%. These are basically the dataset descriptions of a CT scan dataset. So COVID-19 has around 21,777 cases. Normal cases are around 24,000. Viral pneumonia cases are 36,000. So these are the cases from different classes of viral pneumonia, normal, and COVID-19 cases. So now we will discuss the conclusion of this work. This work demonstrates the multi-contrastive based SSL framework Multicon. Multicon combines consistency regularization with unsupervised contrastive learning approach in order to improve the feature embedding. Through extensive experiments on semi-supervised learning classification, we found that Multicon exhibits significantly improved performance compared to other methods in all settings that we studied. We employed Multicon in therapeutic classification of drugs from their chemical structures and diagnosis of COVID-19 and pneumonia cases with high accuracy. So our future work, we would like to extend the concept of multi-contrastive learning in 3D image analysis. Multicon could be possible to extend to such areas for achieving gains in active learning setting. We also want to apply Multicon in security and natural language processing domain. So that's all from my side. These are a few of my publications at Dr. Khan's lab. So thank you for your attention.